Tom Doak's masterpiece at Tara Iti has taken the golf world by storm since opening quietly in October 2015. Ranked number 6 on Golf Digest's World 100 Greatest list, this magnificent seaside links course has once again put golf in New Zealand squarely in the crosshairs of enthusiasts from all over the world. This is every hole at Tara Iti. Actually, finding Tara Iti is the first accomplishment of a visit. After driving about 90 minutes north of Auckland, you leave the pavement for the journey down the gravel road leading to the gate. As you wind your way into Tara Iti, the pine forest starts to thin and sand begins to reveal itself before you get your first glimpse of golf. The clubhouse sets the tone for what this place is really all about. Understated elegance, attention to detail, and blending with nature rather than standing opposed to it. To put the level of detail into perspective here, the sand for the sandstone used in the construction of the clubhouse was mined on site to ensure that the color palette matched the building's surrounds. The course is unique and so beautiful that it is really difficult to put into words. It is truly just perfection. The opening hole introduces you to the importance of angles at Tara Iti. A small grove of lanky pine forces you to play this as designed, as a little dog leg left. It's not a long hole, but the second shot is played to a slightly elevated green. There is a brilliant backstop that will bring the ball back down to the hole if you go too long. Brute force will not produce the lowest score at Tara Iti, but the right mix of imagination and execution will. The second at Tara Iti has a small pot-like bunker situated almost in the middle of the green with several tee options and shifting winds. This par 3 could literally require anything from a fairway wood to a 9-iron. The elevated tee provides your first, but by no means your last, majestic view of the Pacific Ocean. It's hard for me to pick a favorite hole at Tara Iti, but the third, I have to tell you, is a strong contender. A wide fairway leads to a natural punch bowl green built in the dunes, and on most days the pin can't be seen. Anything from a high middle iron, low running punch, or even a well-struck putter can produce incredible results thanks to the firm contours surrounding the green. I have literally putted from 50 to 75 yards off this green. Every great golf course should have at least one drivable par 4, and Tara Iti is blessed with several. One would foolishly think these are easy pars, or even birdie holes. But beware, an errant shot to the left will put you in a deep bunker out of which you can't see anything, and anything short right will leave you with an uphill shot to a pin you can't see as well. One of the longest holes on the course, with the largest green on the course, the fifth provides a generous landing area off the tee, but requires a lot more thought for your second and third shots. This is also a social corridor on the course, with the fairways of the fifth and the third holes intersecting. It provides a great opportunity for golfers to interact, from a brief nod to some friendly banter, like, "What the hell are you doing in my fairway?" The walk from the fifth green to the sixth tee is destined to be among the best walks in golf. This elevated tee allows for huge ocean views, but your eye is drawn to the massive natural sand dune in the distance. This is the closest you'll play to the Pacific, which adds a joyful distraction to this difficult par 4 elevated green that I have to say has consistently given me fits. One of the most brilliant holes on the course, the seventh, is as exciting as it is diabolical. At less than 300 yards, this drivable par 4 almost begs you to have a courageous swing with your driver. And you're even more tempted because you can get a lot of roll here. If you go right, you'll be slammed into the side of a sand dune. And if you go long, the sand trap coming back, oh my goodness, bring a shovel. Perhaps the most challenging driving hole on the course, the eighth, is right about where you start to realize you're almost to the halfway point. Once you've safely found the fairway, this green is well protected on the right and slopes off sharply on the left. Tara Iti always provides a safe play, which on the eighth hole would be to the left. I have been there almost every time, but you'll have to earn your par from there because the chip back up to that sloping green is never easy. From one of the best driving challenges on the course to now one of the most challenging green complexes on the course, the 9th plays long, uphill, into the wind, and requires first-timers to put complete trust in their caddies. Because of the bowl shape of the green and the giant backstop behind it, balls approaching from the left will typically feed to the right side of this green, and balls approaching from the right will do the opposite. While this is apparent to the caddies, it is not to the golfer. There is also a huge trap in front, and if you end up there, getting up and down can be next to impossible. That brings us to the mighty 10th hole. It's a monster of a par 3 that could easily be mistaken for a short par 4, and most likely will require a head cover to be removed. This hole is the epitome of a firm, fast golf hole. The ball is very much alive when it lands. The best play here is to land it short right of the green and watch it bound forward and track left toward the center of the putting surface. If you do go left into the sand and bush though, you will discover that it's easy to find your ball there and actually make a play from that spot. The 11th is a sweeping par 5 with a generous landing area. The hole bends toward the ocean and the green site is framed by the craggy islands in the distance. A small bunker in front of the green, flanked by large slopes, make holding the green on this hole very difficult, even with a short iron. That is, it's a short par 5, but its protection is in the slope of this green, and once again, you can pull your putter out from 75 yards away. The 12th requires a blind tee shot over a ridgeline, but you'll be rewarded with tremendous roll, making this 450-plus yard par 4 much shorter. The real fun is on the second shot, where the green sits amid a dune that falls hard from right to left. An approach landing in the center of the green will settle 20 to 30 yards down the bank. Instead, play your approach onto the hillside right of the green and watch as gravity pulls it down 20 to 30 yards toward the hole. The 13th, another brilliant, potentially drivable par 4, takes you to the highest point on the course. A well-placed fairway bunker is both Satan and Savior. Satan if you find your way inside, leaving you a near impossible, I can attest, 100-yard shot into the green. Savior because it allows you to choose the line you wish to attack this green, either over the bunker to run the ball in, or right of the bunker to try to chase it on. A heroic tee shot on the 14th, an elevated par 4, should stay well left of center. A ball hit down the center line, or with a bit too much gusto, will have you fighting for a 5 from the sand that runs along the right side of the hole. As good as the golf hole is, your eyes are drawn to the hen and chicks, the islands directly behind the green on your approach, and the magnificent sand dune to the north, visible from much of the course. Again, there's a false front here, which is hard to detect when you're coming up the hill, so make sure you get it over that. Appearing as if a green blanket has been laid gently across the dunes, the 15th is a downhill par 3 that is as beautiful as it is ruthless, where 3 feels like a major accomplishment. A green that slopes from front to back adds even more challenge, but your first reach isn't for an iron, it's for your camera, as the 15th is one of the most photographed holes on the course. Sandwiched between 2 difficult par 3s, the 16th requires a well-struck tee ball that will leave you with a middle to short iron in. However, a front pin can turn a would-be par into a what the heck just happened 6. It's often easy to lose focus here as your eyes start to wander to the left and the postage stamp green of the par 3 17th coming up. I think the 17th is a hole that is destined to adorn everything from magazine covers to calendars, and I have to warn you, some nightmares. This tiny elevated green demands one of your best shots of the day. It's the shortest hole in the course. I often hit a 9-iron there into the wind. But the brilliance of the hole's design is that you have to fly the ball to the hole. With the constant breeze on the 17th, high in the air is the last place you want to be, as shots that appear to be tracking on line have a habit of drifting ever so gently into the many parlous spots around the green, including these incredibly craggy, deep sand dune traps that make up and down next to impossible. After a brief moment to wipe the tears from your eyes as you recognize that your round at Tara Iti is coming to an end, you'll need to reapply your game face for the final tee shot of the day. The par 5 18th is reachable even for moderate hitters. I've hit it several times with a 3-wood. But the landing area is among the most narrow on the course, which is why I've also hit the traps around it several times with a 3-wood. Above the magnificent green complex sits Tara Iti's clubhouse, meaning watchful eyes will add even more pressure as you attack this finishing hole. Indeed, your New Zealand mates are often sitting on a bench up there, watching, cheering, and having often a pretty good laugh as you come in for a landing on the 18th at Tara Iti. Few golf courses, if any, can approach Tara Iti's raw beauty. Its relaxed, understated atmosphere truly sets it apart from any golf destination in the world. The on-site cottages are cozy but transformative. A 31-foot 1970 Airstream time traveler has been refitted with a chef's kitchen capable of providing everything from light snacks to full meals to homemade pizza. There are organic gardens, a caravan that's been converted to a bar, not to mention ample opportunities for kayaking, paddleboarding, or biking. Several days after golf, I'll take a cart and walk down to the 7 or 8 miles of utterly pristine beach. In all my days at Tara Iti, I've never been on that beach with anybody else.